At least 13 commissioners have resigned their appointments in Sokoto State ahead of a primary elections in accordance with the Electoral Act, bringing the total number of commissioners that had resigned in order to contest elections to over 60 across the 36 states. Good morning and welcome back to Newsroom Media. This is where we give you hot, fresh, and sizzling news all day long. Before we go ahead with the details of today's news, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do well to subscribe. Click on the like button. Most importantly, hit the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever we post. Without further ado, let's dive straight into the details of today's news. Not less than 13 commissioners have resigned their appointments in Sokoto State ahead of the primary elections in accordance with the Electoral Act, bringing the total number of commissioners that had resigned in order to contest elections to over 60 across the 36 states. A statement signed by the special advisor to the governor on media and publicity, Mohammed Bello, on Wednesday said Governor Aminu Tambuwa had accepted their resignations accordingly. The statement reads in part, Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwa has accepted the resignation of 13 key portfolio holders in his administration, which include Manu Iya, the deputy governor, who was also the overseer of Minister of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. The remaining commissioners are those manning ministries of finance, environment, youths and sports, lands and housing, as well as careers and security. Abdusamad Dasuki, Shagal Bafarawa, Bashau, Gurau, Aminu, Bodinga, and Colonel Gaba Moyin retired respectively. Other commissioners who resigned are those of Commerce, Works, Water Resources, Solid Minerals, and Religious Affairs, Bashau, Gidado, Saliu, Maidaji, Shaud Bu, Gobi, Abubakar Ahmed, and Abdullahi Mangwadu correspondingly. More of those who resigned include the Secretary to the State Governor, Malam Shaidu Umar, and the Chief of Staff. Report has it that Sokoto is not the only state where commissioners have resigned. In Kano State, no fewer than 10 commissioners have resigned, while in Delta State, at least 9 have stepped down. The case is the same in Kwara State, where no fewer than 7 commissioners have stepped aside, while in Bayelsa State, at least 5 have resigned. In Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu recently asked members of his cabinet seeking to run for office to also resign. However, the Minister of State for Education, Okwemeka Nwa-Jioba, insisted that he would not resign until 30 days before the general election as required by the Constitution. He said Governor Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State was a minister when he contested the governorship primary and won, adding that nobody could confer his opinion on another. The minister spoke when a group, Project Nigeria, presented the 100 million presidential form of the All Progressive Congress it purchased to him on Wednesday. Nwa-Jioba urged anyone who was hurt by his decision to remain in office to challenge it in court. The minister said, the resignation of a minister or anybody who is in office is guided by the Constitution to contest election. We are required to contest elections if we want. We're required to resign 30 days before the election we wish to contest in, That's the position of the law. Any other person can have an opinion. My position is that the law of a country rests in the grundnorm called the Constitution. If you do not like the Constitution, your work is to amend it. This is no subrogation of power. This is required for you to include into a law what is not deemed as included in the law. If you are in doubt, I will remind you about Kayode Fayemi. He was in government up till the day he contested in the primary and started his campaign. And 30 days to his election, he called the Federal Executive Cabinet and said, I am now meeting the requirement of the law by resigning. And while Joba's decision to contest, despite a protracted strike embarked on by members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, drew criticism from Nigerians, mainly on social media, who urged that the minister ought to focus on ending the crisis rather than his personal political ambition. Reacting to the criticisms, he pleaded with the lecturers to return to class, assuring them their demands would be met. He said, I would like them to return to class so that students can go back to class. As the nation hands, we pay them. As the nation gets money, we will say to them, we don't want our children to miss the opportunity of their own time because there is a time frame in which children must grow. The time cannot wait. It is important that Asuu returns to class. Also, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, who is in charge of negotiations with the striking university lecturers, insisted that he would not resign despite his intention to contest the presidency. Ngige also said he was unaware of a directive by the All Progressive Congress for political appointees to resign. The minister said this while fielding questions from State House correspondents after the Wednesday Federal Executive Council meeting. According to him, since the March 18 judgment of a federal high court in Umuahi struck out Section 84, subsection 12 of the recently signed Electoral Act 2022, he is under no pressure to resign. I will be guided by the letters and spirit of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That aspect of the law enacted by the National Assembly via the Electoral Act Section 84 subsection 12 has been struck down by the Court of Law and the cases are on appeal. And for now, no matter how bad the judgment is, that's the maximum jurisdiction. No matter how bad the law is, it is a judgment of the court. It should be obeyed until upturned or stayed. But there is no way, there is no atonement of that particular pronouncement, and the party is on appeal, so the judgment is still subsisting. That aspect of the law was injurious to some persons and should not have been there. I also know that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in sections 107 subsection 88 prescribes disqualification clauses for people who are going for election, and that prescription is supreme because it's in the Constitution, and the Constitution is the grand norm of all laws, he said. On the 100 million naira fee for the nomination and expression of interest form, the Labour Minister said, well, that is the people's views. I had that earlier, that I made a budget for 50 million and it is now 100 million naira. So I have discussed with my supporters and they are raising the money to augment whatever is before now. So when they finish augmentation, I believe that we are all up to 100 million naira so that we can purchase our form. These are politicians. They think that they are so smart. All of them are saying that some group of persons are donating money, or how did they even put it? Some group of persons are like giving them the 100 million naira they need to be able to purchase the form. Meanwhile, they are the one. I'm very sure of this fact because I don't know that there is any group of persons that love them so much because of all their philanthropical works. This is a sarcasm. I don't mean it, because which philanthropical work have they done that some group of persons will now sit down and say, oh, let's contribute 100 million naira and give to so to go and purchase a political form. This practice is not even acceptable to start with in any country, not to talk of Nigeria here. It is in Nigeria here that we see all sorts of practices. Meanwhile, these politicians are the ones that, they don't just want people to know that they have that 100 million naira, but they are looking for ways. They all sat down and think, okay, if we say some group of persons gave us the money, it would look, it will not look as if we are the ones that actually have that 100 million naira. People will not be able to point at us that we have embezzled funds. But in actual fact, these people have triple the funds in their account. But because they don't want people to point fingers at them, they now look for ways to cover it up so that it will not look, they will not look like thieves, but they're actually thieves. That is one. Number two is the fact that even in America, I don't think people, a group of persons are allowed to contribute money, because that is how corruption starts. If those group of persons actually contributed 100 million for you to run for office, when you eventually win that office, and for example there is a contract to be won, instead of a contract to be thrown open and people should write proposals and all for that contract, and you see that, oh, this person gave me so amount of money when I was trying to campaign, you actually want to favor that person and give that person the contract because the person has done a favor to you before. That is how corruption starts. And before you know it, favoritism, nepotism, and everything will enter. And that is the end. Anyway, my people, let me know what you think in the comment section. Leave down your comments below. I respond to all my comments. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do well to subscribe. Hit the like button. Most importantly, click on the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever we post. We still have more great news coming your way today. Please stay with us.